authorized personnel only. Please do not enter the field of play for any reason. As a reminder, both
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside our continued live coverage, round of 32, here on BowlTV.com. Bill Williams Jr. here with you from Cedarville Lanes at the PWBA Twin Cities Open. Game 1 of 8. Bright and early on a very, very nice Saturday morning here in Eagan, Minnesota. Featured lanes here today, 27 through 30, as we whittle our way down to 12 bowlers. We'll have 8 games to try to get themselves into that top 12. We'll bowl 6 additional games later this afternoon prior to the start of the stepladder finals on Bowl TV. Bowling lives here. Danielle McEwen. Could be the start of a very Danielle type of day. She's got the front 7 here on 27 and 28. Make it 8 in a row. She's joined by Missy Parkin and Sydney Brummett. And then our doubles pair, if you will, on 29 and 30 right now is Caroline Lagrange and Stephanie Martins. .43 feet, the distance of this week's lane condition with 29 milliliters of oil. McEwen looking for the front 9 here early this morning. And she is 10 back in them here early. There will be no live scoring. There hasn't been throughout the weekend. Not this week. Right now, at least in this area, we've got 6 lanes within our, literally just our viewing area. There's a few lanes out of play this morning. They are in front of the desk, so tough for the fans in attendance to view. .202 for Caroline Lagrange, 176 for Stephanie Martins. Already 1 game in the books. Missy Parkin. Got a pretty good start here. We'll go over the standings entering the day. All right, all eyes on Danielle McEwen. We've had one opportunity at perfection this week. This is number 2. Danielle. A couple years ago, she said, I'm not the person that really strikes a lot. But if you recall me talking about it yesterday, McEwen is the type of player that just goes about her business, kind of goes, not necessarily under the radar, but during the week. And you'll look up and she'll be in 5th, in 10th, in 3rd. And here she is, getting this morning started very early here. She's got the front 10. How about 11? D-Mac coming out, serving early notice. That she's lined up. She feels good. And it could be a long day for everyone else. Coming in at 19th place at plus 73. Looking to hop into the top 10 in one game. McEwen for perfection. Leaves a 10 pin. $2.99 for Danielle. Well done, D-Mac. And just like that, McEwen now at plus 172. And more than likely, in the top 10, but probably a guaranteed top 15. So we're off to game 2. Well, I think that'll wake everybody up. How about that? Coming up on the featured pairs here, by the way, we added a different pair today. We got 23 and 24 going, as you can see. We had been on 25 and 26, but it was a little issue, so we had to make some changes. And so you get to see a little bit of a different pair in that area. Game 2 on 27 and 28 will be Shayna Ung, Kelly Kulik, Bjordigit Poplar, and on 29 and 30, Jody Golick, Dasha Kovalova, and Jazz Real Tan. So we've got a little bit of a break, because Danielle struck so much in this area. Of course, the pace of play was pretty darn quick here on our featured pairs. So good morning to all. Let's start from the top. Big thanks again to Brant Houghton. Brant basically spends his time with us, even though most of the time he is not with us in the physical presence. But he spends his time with us, and so we appreciate him. We thank Holstein for joining us early this morning, as well as Francis, Gabrielle checking in. Deborah, Sal, Burrell, John, Ting, Armando, Melody, Paul, Alan, Drew, I'm sure, and Brian, as well as Brent, who is in the building. So Kelly is here, Shayna Ung is here, and we'll be off and running for game 2 in just a few seconds. So hang tight. Back in a moment with you. Continued live coverage of the Twin Cities Open from Cedarville Lanes continues here momentarily. This is BowlTV.com. Bowling lives here. All right, game 2 underway. 8 games in the round of 32. Then we'll cut to the top 12. Round of 12 will feature 6 games. After those 6 games, the field will be whittled down to the top 4 players who will then compete in our BowlTV.com Step Ladder Finals. Barbara has checked in along with Dan. PWBA.com/live, your source for all of the informational needs. You can also click over on the side panel if you are on a desktop at the chat feature, star feature, as well as a notepad type feature. Then you'll see the calendar on the end. That third one says tournament information. Once you click it, you'll click that link. It'll take you right to our live page as well. So with 1 game in the books now, Danielle McEwen has indeed catapulted her way from 19th to 10th after 299 plus 172. So keep your eyes on Danielle McEwen out the day. I know D-Mac certainly looking forward to a better performance last week. She is already in the round of 32 and now pushing to extend her day into the round of 12. Shannon O'Keefe is in the lead at plus 288. She led after 16 games last night. Brandy Branca, by the way, tied for second with now Lindsay Boomershine, who came out the gates with 254. Branca led after round 1, the first 8 games this morning. Maria Jose Rodriguez is fourth at plus 245. Brianna Cote led after round 1 yesterday. Brandy Branca led for the majority of round number 2 up until the last game where Shannon O'Keefe overtook her for first place. My apologies. Verity Crawley is 6th at plus 215. Verity got the curbside service this morning. I'm not sure where she was staying, but the nice shuttle dropped her off right at the door here at Cedarville Lanes. And I talked to her about that earlier, and she said actually the bus driver, the gentleman, very nice. Actually, his wife came up to the bowling center to watch Verity compete yesterday and introduced herself. And the husband was unable to make it, at least this morning, but he said he could make it this afternoon and for the stepladder finals. So it's now Verity's mission to make the stepladder finals. Very interesting, cool little tidbits every now and then that we see, but just from a fan perspective. Players able to make fans literally everywhere, and it's pretty cool. Clara Guerrero 7th at plus 210. Sherry Tan is 8th at plus 207. Beauty Get Poplar is 9th at plus 177. The aforementioned Danielle McEwen now 10th at plus 172. Jazrael Tan is 11th at plus 143. And the Hall of Famer Liz Johnson is 12th at plus 138. Kelly Kulick now with that HOF by her name in the standings. She is 13th at plus 129. Got a long way to go, but already seeing some, I won't say some different ways to attack this pattern, but a new day, again on the fresh. Another time the pattern has been laid down. We've got less bowlers on the lane. And so some of the service that we've seen earlier from players that Danielle's attack of the lanes looked pretty good, obviously, in game number 1. Keeping her angles in front of her, and she is so accurate, and her shot repeatability is so good. Speaking of McEwen, wouldn't shock me if we had another Wichita repeat. And what I mean by that is, again, a couple years ago, Danielle went 770 to make, I believe it was either the round of 32 or the round of 12. I think it was the round of 12. Then proceeded to shoot 800 for the first 3 games. Went on to win the tournament. Yesterday we thought 29 and 30 kind of was the pair that tended to yield some pretty solid scores. 27 to 28 wasn't too far behind. Shayna Ung now with 5 in a row on this very pair, speaking of 27 and 28. Nice spare there for Poplar. So here's Shayna. And she leaves a 2-8. Ung, who looked to be kind of out of the cut for a while, and she was after round number 1. Round 1 was a little tough for a lot of players. Danielle McEwen was 28th after the first 8 games yesterday. Shina Sorouse bowled excellent last night to catapult herself up the leaderboard. She was 32nd. Birgit Poplar was not in the cut, not in the top 32 after the first 8. Neither was Missy Parkin, for example. Neither was Liz Johnson. Neither was Ashley Galante. In fact, Galante was like 64th. Again, this was just after the first 8 games. Obviously, you know, another 8-game block and a lot of things can happen, and we see that every week. Shayna was 60th. Shayna went minus 110 after the first 8 games. Minus 110. Stephanie Johnson was minus 103 after the first 8 games. This is just to give you an idea of how far and how well some of the players bowled last night to make the round of 32. Ung at minus 110. Stephanie Johnson was minus 103. Ashley Galante was minus 92 after the first 8. Liz Johnson was minus 21. A respectable deficit. Minus 110 is a lot. Minus 103 is a lot. Good shot. Shayna, to me, has got a very patented type ball roll. You never see her ball really go make a hard left turn off a pattern. And I think obviously part of it, release, ball, surface, layout, etc. But I think a lot of it has to do with the release. Jody Golick. Jody's mom is here. It's been here all weekend watching. Dasha Kovalova has had plenty of fans in the chat area, and Kelly Kulik will start over. Some early struggles here for Golick, but still in good shape. Wow. You can see the frustration there from Kulik. Kelly is super in many ways, and she was about to become Superwoman. Because in another circumstance, she might have made her jersey look like a tearaway jersey. But we've all been there. 8 pins when you don't need it, especially on a double. I think sometimes you hear it all the time about athletes and showing emotion and don't show too much, but then we want them to show emotion and all that kind of stuff. Emotion is good. This is what they do. They compete. There's a title on the line. Nice shot there from Jazreel Tan. Jazreel, another round of 32, back-to-back for her. Back-to-back for Sherry Tan and New Wei Finn. Those are members of Team Singapore who have made the round of 32 again in both of our events so far this season. Really nice shot there from Dasha. We talked a little bit about her last night, and just from her, just her personality. Good shot there from Kelly. Yep. Giving them the business a little bit. I like it, Kelly. Early here in game number 2. Shayna Ung. They went 5-bagger, 2-8, double. How about 3? Yep. Able to chop the 10 out. I'm telling you what. Shayna Ung can strike with the best of them. Mentioned she was minus 110 after the first 8 games yesterday. And then she ended up qualifying 27th, shot 259. And it was kind of a battle between her and Ashley Galante, at least at the time, because they were on the same pair of lanes. And, of course, not knowing what else was happening around them. So you got to do what you got to do. And Galante, for her credit, too, shot 233. She was even. After, what, 7? Oh, I'm sorry, 14 games maybe? Nonetheless, she was around the number and was the number for a little bit. Shot 233 and ended up 30th. Giselle Poss last night shot 247 to get to plus 14. Summer Jasmine was the final qualifier last night at plus 12. Another quality shot from Shayna Ung, who was such in the zone that didn't realize it was the 10th frame. But she's in the 260s now. Kulik, since her double, has gone 8 spare strike, now 7 pin. Jody trying to just get through this game here with minimal damage. One open. Having some trouble finding a 1-3 after the first couple of frames. Here is Ung. Motions as she comes back. And kind of that over the top motion where you take your right hand, and if you were to release the ball, think about how the ball would release on your hand. And we all do it. You see the players come back and almost want to get that feel back, so they practice with it, with their wrists and the hand, and then you'll see them every now and again kind of do one of those over the top, meaning that's what they did on that particular shot or something close to it, instead of course, what they intended to do, whether that was up the back, something in a normal setting, if you will. .267 for Shayna Ung. So 299 and 267 so far today on 27 and 28. So through 2 games, if you want to get some pins, better do it on 27 and 28. Kovalova. Right over 17-18 at the arrows. Some of the early lines here for players. Don't see very many outside today. I talked to a few players this morning, and some of the things they've noticed just for the first couple of weeks, and really some characteristics of the tour, is players tend to start further left. And this is again kind of talking to a few players during round 2 of qualifying. So they kind of figure some things out, obviously, in round 1, come up with a new game plan if necessary for round 2, but the majority tend to start a little further left, and they end up finishing further left than where they finished in round number 1. So they kind of keep all of that in mind as the rounds go on. But again, different here when you only get to 32 players. .197 for Poplar. And now Kelly Kulik, after battling, can get to 203. All right, Jazreel Tan. Wasn't quite sure about that one, but it's a strike on the scoreboard, and that's a big double. All right, 202 for Kulik. Game 2 has ended in a very solid pace as well. .188. Golick 201 for Tan. A lot of slashes on the scoreboard on 29 and 30, and that's not a bad thing, certainly. They are keeping themselves in it. All right, 187. All right, coming up next in game 3, we will have Stephanie Johnson, Verity Crawley, and Tashina Sorouse on 29 and 30. Stephanie Schwartz, Clara Guerrero, and Jordan Richard on 27 and 28. Those are our pairings coming up in game number 3. Round of 32 is underway, ongoing, commencing, all of the above. You're watching it on BowlTV.com. Bowling lives here. Game 3 is underway. I want to thank again Brent Prentice and Jeff and Craig and everyone here. Gail actually provided an additional seat cushion. Actually won her personal. as well as Jeff and Craig. So between myself and Kathy Kavicki, we were able to commandeer some very nice seat cushions on behalf of Cedarville Lanes, and we appreciate that. Next week, the tour heads to the Lincoln, Nebraska area, the city of Lincoln. And of course, the backdrop is the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. If you've never been, it's although obviously you don't really get to spend too much time, but Lincoln is pretty cool. It has some very enticing type sites and places. From the parking garage. Was it the parking garage? Which parking garage was it? Somewhere in the Haymarket district. But you can see and kind of overlook Lincoln Memorial Stadium. Memorial Stadium. Of course, the sea of red for all of those Cornhusker fans out there. That's where we'll be next week. And of course, we'll have plenty of alums from Nebraska competing. Let's check some scores. And not yet. Okay. Stephanie Schwartz had a very nice day yesterday also. Her second block specifically. Or first block, I beg your pardon. She went plus 56 earlier, and then I would say last night that it was a bit of a grind, but she made shots when she needed to. In her last three games, she went 227, 236, 215 to get to plus 40 and tie for 28th to qualify this morning. I mentioned Stephanie Johnson and the work she put in. Again, 1497, so minus 103 for the first 8 games. And then proceeded to then go plus 143 in round 2 last night. Getting heck of a day on the lanes last night for Steph to get things done. She has started with 4 consecutive spares, speaking of Steph J. Stephanie won the PWBA PWBA Players Championship last year for her first major championship. She made 3 of the 4 major shows, TV shows that is. Made the Queen Show. Was the top seed at the U.S. Women's Open, finished 2nd. And got the deal done at the Players Championship, also as the top seed. Of course, the places she's very familiar with. That was at Plano Super Bowl. Clara, I think, was really pretty consistent yesterday as well. In fact, bowled better last night. Plus 77, then plus 112. So you get to plus 189 after 16 games. Tashina Saraus. Good shot there from Tashina. And now our 18-game update. Shannon O'Keefe still your leader at plus 306. Lindsay Boomershine is second at plus 294. Boomershine has gone 254, 244. Cote third at plus 274. Verity Crawley has gone 267, 247. To get to fourth at plus 262. Brandy Branca, a very, very small bit of a slow start. 192, 204. Nothing crazy, but nothing that is hurting her at the moment. No doubles here for Steph J as of yet. Good shot. Branca again fifth at plus 254. Clara sixth at plus 247. Maria Jose Rodriguez is seventh, plus 242. McEwen has gone 299, 242, plus 214. Sherry Tan is ninth at plus 206. Poplar 10th at plus 174. Miss Johnson has worked her way. Oh, she was in the number. She was 12th prior to. She moves up to 11th at plus 156. We have a tie for 12th between Shayna Ung and Jasbril Tan at plus 144. Tashina Saraus 3 pins back at plus 141. Kelly Kulik is 13 pins back at plus 131. And 19 pins back at plus 125 is New Wave Finn. Macy Parkin is right there at plus 122. Jordan Richard at plus 119. Jody Wessner at plus 93 is going 221, 225. So Jody trying to make some noise here this morning. Again, check the standings at pwba.com/live. Quality shot from Stephanie Johnson. Here's Jordan Richard trying to find a little rhythm here. She's gone 168-200. Tecumseh, Michigan. Open frame for Verity. Over on 23 and 24, Ashley Galante, Sherry Tan, and Lindsay Boomershine. Seth knew that one when she let it go. Right there, you only hope to leave something makeable. That is a makeable spare, but there's some easier ones out there for sure. Rouse takes care of business on the spare. Open frame for Schwartz in the 8th. Loss happening down there on, let's see, looks like 17-18 in the 15-16 range. Even better shot for Sorrells. You can kind of get a sense that you just watch where Sorrells is playing, and everyone's been around third arrow, between third and fourth arrow to start. Crawley entering the right of your screen here momentarily. Two, 4-10 for Verity. One strike on this right lane. Now no three-backers for Stephanie Johnson. Finally got a double. Interesting to watch here. Jay Rich throwing some good shots. That one nearly left a 4-9 though. A 3-6-10 to deal with for Schwartz. applause for Shannon O'Keefe down there. O'Keefe looks like she has gone strike, spare, 5-bagger. And Shannon in week number 2 has made her mark now and eyeing a stepladder finals appearance. I know it's early. It's still early here locally, 10:15 Central Time. Another 9-pin, back-to-back 9-pins for Steph J. So after spending 4 frames, basically, first couple, figuring some things out, make some moves. Feels good, throws some good shots. Then goes strike, spare double. Forgot what that spare was. 9-pin, 9-pin. We have seen the 250 plus look. The 260 look, certainly. Danielle McEwen, if you just joined us, shot 299 in game 1 on 27 and 28. Shayna Ung shot 267 on 27 and 28 in game number 2. We won't have any of that type of high score this game, but you've seen the amount of good shots that have been thrown now on both of these pairs here. Big double. Shannon O'Keefe out there doing some things. You can take a look at that channel. Over on lanes 13 through 16. She's got the young fan club behind her. Big shot there for Crawley. A little late, but it's on the right lane, and now it's starting to become an issue for her. Claro will finish things out. 215 for Richard. 177 for Schwartz. Now, Claire, best he can do is shoot 192. A little hang down lane on this right lane. That looked like a really good shot. Hit the second tracer down lane. The one that is at 10. Board number 10 I'm speaking of down lane. And just never quite made it up the hill. .179 for Verity. And that'll do it for game number 3. Game number 4 is on its way, but before we do that, I do want to remind you that Earl, if you're unfamiliar with Earl, of course he's our cool robot back in the International Training and Research Center. We began his journey to 900 last season in an effort to have the most accurate robot in the world. Hey, let's see if Earl can shoot 900. We were unsuccessful, although we had fun doing it. We were unsuccessful, but we did learn a lot. Hopefully you learned a lot and saw some cool celebrities make their way through the research center as well. Earl is back for the second season, and our first episode actually was about a month ago, I guess, at this point. Boy, that went by pretty quickly. So stay tuned for more info as we continue Earl's journey to 900. It's right here on Bowl TV. It's on the Backstage channel, where bowling lives here. And if I were you, I would be tuned in, or at least have bowltv.com available on Monday afternoon. We'll be we may or may not be on the journey for season number 2. Giselle Poss, Brianna Cote, and Maria Jose Rodriguez will be on 29 and 30. Summer Jasmine, Shannon O'Keefe. And Brandy Brinka, which was your 1-2-32 coming into today. How's everyone doing out there? Hopefully you are enjoying the summer, or not the summer. It's definitely not summer early. We've got a few more weeks to go before we can say it's certainly summer. It is going to be summer, however, on 27 and 28 because Summer Jasmine will be on that pair. And it's summer almost because Young Brantland has created a nice trivia question for you in relation to our event here in the Twin Cities, as Giselle Poss gets the party started on 29 and 30. So as we get underway, trivia time. That's true, Michael. That is true. I spend a lot of time in Texas, so it does often feel like summer. So, yeah, I guess it obviously depends on where you are in the country. Here's your trivia question. Hope you all gave a solid answer. We'll unveil those results after this game. We've got PWBA bowling, of course, going on. Then this coming Tuesday, be sure to set your DVRs if you will not be at home. But you can check out the USBC Collegiate National Championship, the Intercollegiate Team Championship show, as the women's team show will be airing on CBS Sports Network. It'll happen at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, May 7th. It will be, speaking of Shannon O'Keefe, you'll see her and her McKendree Bearcats. They will take on Robert Morris, Illinois. Tracy, I heard that it did snow last week, and I was briefly at home, but it missed me. Nice roll of the 10, a little messenger for Cote. Melody is listening from work near Tampa. I'm sure the temperatures are very pleasant. Probably not as humid as yet, or as of yet, that it could be in Florida, in that area. We had a few events at Seminole Lanes in Seminole, so got somewhat familiar with Tampa a little bit. Tabitha, thunderstorms where she is, but heading out to a tournament. Good luck today. Bowl well. If anyone's bowling or volunteering or scorekeeping or doing something with an event, good luck. Rodriguez, your reigning PWBA Tour champion or championship winner. O'Keefe, your reigning PWBA Player of the Year. You can check out her interview last night with Aaron. Talking about her block and just edging out Brandy Branca for the lead at the end of the round. Summer Jasmine, first round of 32 of the season for Summer. See at the bottom of the ticker, the leader, and now of course the cut is to the top 12, and that number is available on that ticker. We'll get into the standings. And speaking of that, Melody, I think it's coming back to me. O'Keefe, by the way, shot 249, increased her lead. She's now at plus 355. Lindsay Boomershine is second at plus 294. Brianna Cote is third at plus 290. Maria Jose Rodriguez is fourth at plus 282. Verity Crawley is fifth at plus 241. Clara Guerrero is sixth at plus 239. Sherry Tan seventh at plus 233. Danielle McEwen eighth at plus 231. Brandy Branca has dropped to ninth at plus 228. Poplar is 10th. The Birgit at plus 198. Liz Johnson is 11th at plus 184. And Kelly Kulik is 12th at plus 168. Shayna Ung is one pin back at plus 167. Jazz Real Tan is 14th at plus 155. Shina Saraus is 15th at plus 146. Missy Parkins 16th at plus 137. Jordan Richard is at plus 134, so still in striking distance, no pun intended. Jody Westner continuing to move up here. Jody has put up a nice 683 set. We got, all of a sudden, we're back to striking on 27 and 28. Westner is at plus 130. Shannon looks pretty strong. And she's got a good look and looks pretty comfortable here. Several games to go, but she's certainly on the right path. Rodriguez, 10 pin to take care of. We had two-time major winner. USBC Queens. And last year's PWBA Tour Championship. Maria won the 2014 Queens. And trouble for Summer Jasmine. Brianna Cote had a very nice season last year, and if you recall, 2017 was not kind for her, or to her, I should say, as the smell of popcorn rolls through the vicinity here in Cedarville Lanes. Stops me in mid-thought. I thoroughly enjoy some popcorn, let me tell you. Apparently that's what Steph Curry and I have in common. He has a love for popcorn too. Random nuggets of information from EWJR. But Cote last year finished 8th in points. Won the 10K challenge presented by Go Bowling. Qualified as the top seed in both the USBC Queens and Fountain Valley Open. Finished 2nd in both. Made the show at the Greater Harrisburg Open, if my mind is correct. Zell Poss from living in Nashville, went to Vanderbilt. She is from suburban Chicago, so near Aurora. Official city for Montgomery. 10 pin goes for Cote. Toss went to Oswego East. Made the show last week at the regional championship, regional event in Cleveland. Missed the round of 32. Made the show at the regional last week. Now making the round of 32 this week here in Minnesota. Starting to reach a point where the pace is slowing just enough. Players are starting to, see some transition and make sure they're doing what they should do. Look out. Open frame for Rodriguez. And Maria is going to have to right the ship here quickly. She's in fourth at plus 282. And plenty of cushion at the moment. But you don't want a snowball effect, certainly. Some really good opportunities here for just about every player. Rodriguez struck in the ninth, so she can get to 187, which would be certainly a nice save here, considering the start that she had. The blip in the 8th frame for Pass, she can get to 222 with 3 in the 10th. 4.67 there for Giselle. She's going to lose some pins if this one is not converted. Big shot there for Branca. Brandy had dropped a few places, and now she can get to 228. Cote with 227 available, and another 10 pin. Pins that aren't falling here in game 4 across these pairs. $197 for Pass. Now pocket 710 for Summer Jasmine. 187 for Summer. Well, good ball change on the fill. That might be one that Bree will elect to continue on with. She does get out of here with a clean 216. Ranka with 2 excellent shots back to back. First double since frames 3 and 4. So for certain players, you're starting to look at how much work they have to do. It looked like a pretty solid shot, but that might result in 175 here for Rodriguez. Two, 4, 5. Wow. Shannon went strike, spare, 3 back. Then 5 spare, 9 spare, 7 spare, 9 spare, 7 spare. Interesting turn and change of events. So it would look to be something that could result in a 230, 240 plus game. Will be 2-0 as she has a quick chat with husband Brian. And one of the reps here for Team EBI, 175 by the way for Rodriguez. And now Shannon will go to the bag. All right, 203 for O'Keefe. Sometimes it's worth the look. You got to do it. What we learned yesterday is that the high end and the low end play a bit differently. And so Shannon is now going back to the low end of the building. So potentially looking ahead to here's what we might see, or here's what you might encounter when you get back to that side of the building. Let's try this just in case you do see it. So we'll keep our eyes on that. We will pick Shannon back up in regards to our live stream pairs. In game 6, she'll be on 9 and 10, then 13 and 14, and then she'll end on 23 and 24. The only game in the next few you won't see from her is game 5, which is on 7 and 8. So there's a bit of a break in between. That's a good point, Paul. New pins. Just, what did they say? What did they tell me? Last week? Momentary break in the action allows me to ask you. Some of you have told us where you're watching from earlier today, but I'd love to hear from you and let us know where you are watching from. Let's see how global we are today. I know we've got some international viewers here on BowlTV.com. Thank you very much. while Paul is watching from Albany. While you guys post in the chat, we are also going to unveil the trivia results. And those will appear in just 1 second. Brief story about, it's not a brief story, about Albany, Georgia. But here are the results. Again, in 1 year did the PWBA first host an event in the state of Minnesota. The correct answer was 1967. 9 of you awesome individuals out there got that correct. Thanks for your participation. The answers are starting to roll in. I'll start with Paul because he said he was watching from Albany, Georgia. Paul, my first internship was with the South Georgia Peanuts, which was at the time an independent team, a part of the South Coast League, an independent baseball franchise. And I spent 3 months and learned all about what Southern Heat was all about. In a very short time. I enjoyed it though. Baseball is extremely, extremely cool. And I wouldn't change anything from tarp pulling to clubhouse managing to a little trash takeout, selling some group packages and tickets. The actual job I was there to do was a broadcast intern. Pretty cool stuff. Tracy watching, of course, from Chicago. Chris from Seattle. Hey, Fran, she's watching from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Tabitha from Little Rock, Arkansas. I hope that's Arkansas, by the way. Robert was watching from Dayton, and Robert's been a frequent viewer. Thanks, Robert. Northeast Ohio. Larry, Fayette, Iowa. That is where Jason is. And, of course, Nicole DePaul Miller, home of the Upper Iowa University Peacocks, indeed. Bonnie watching from Delaware. Karen from Auburn, California. Where's Auburn, California, Karen? Jennifer Cook is watching from Fountain Valley. We will indeed be there in June. Mark is watching from Montreal. Checking on Caroline as well. Pamela is watching from balmy Beaumont, Texas. Sounds like a cool voiceover. Balmy Beaumont, Texas. I'll work on that one. Maybe I'll send it in and it'll be the next cool thing in Beaumont on a commercial. Mike is watching from Ontario. Brian McLean, of course, my man, watching from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Barbara watching from Charleston, South Carolina. Jackie from Texarkana, Texas. Texas is well represented here this morning. Thanks for all of your participation in this and letting us know where our viewership is coming from here in this early morning. If there are more, please don't be shy. Go ahead and type away your locations. If you'd prefer to not let people know where you're watching from, I would also understand as well. I'm going to take a small break as we welcome our next set of players for Game 5 of competition. Game 5 will feature Jody Wessner, Liz Johnson, and Valerie Bercier. Taylor Boltice, New Way Finn, and Jasmine Mason, 27 and 28, 29 and 30 respectively. There's some more coming in, and I'll get with those in just 1 second. Back in a moment with you. You're watching the PWBA Twin Cities Open Round of 32 on BowlTV.com. Bowling lives here.
Oh, I put you to sleep, huh? Yeah. Yeah, you can. It's just not college bowling. That's why. That's why it's quiet. It's not college bowling. You gotta take a picture. You be doing too much, bro. Yeah, thank you. You didn't pay, right? You didn't pay, right? Alright. I can't give you the money back. No, that's fine. I just want to make sure today you did. Yeah, and then I gave her. Okay, thank you. I took it. Thank you.
right, about halfway through. Game 5. All right, before I left, we had talked about, or I was telling all about the nice, great people that are watching this morning and where they're watching from. So let me finish that up. Josh from Livonia, Michigan. Kelvin from Richmond, Virginia. We hope to see you at the Tour Championship, Kelvin. Tony is watching from Riverside, California. Arena from Berlin, Germany. Hopefully watching Buttigieg Poplar. Brianna Conway is watching from Boonville, New York. Linda Schmidt from Allen, Texas, in the Metroplex. Derek has been watching throughout the weekend. He is from Palm Harbor. Sounds very similar to Ashley Galante. Keith Beagle, Celia, California. Joan is watching from East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and taking her laptop. How about that, to a Derby party? Wait, is today the Kentucky Derby? Wow. That's how you know it's the PWBA season for me, folks. Really travel season in general. No recollection. I have no idea when sports are happening. Nonetheless, Jeff from West Virginia. Sean from Northern Virginia in the D.C. area. Sal, the East Channel. Oh, Brent answered that. Sorry. Okay, great. How about that, Derek? Awesome. All right, I come back, and New Way Finn at the front 5, 9 spare now. Look at that angle, although she crossed over, but a little bit of a different angle of attack that we have seen so far. Now I'm questioning whether or not it's game 5. I think it is. All right, after 20 games, plus 358 is in the lead. And Shannon O'Keefe, Brianna Cote at plus 306. Verity Crawley is third at plus 267. Maria Jose Rodriguez fourth at plus 257. Sherry Tan is fifth at plus 245. Brandy Branca sixth at plus 244. Boomer Shine is seventh at plus 242. Lindsay shot 148. She goes from second to seventh. Danielle McEwen eighth at plus 214. Clara Gardetto ninth at plus 210. Buttigieg Poplar is 10th at plus 200. Kelly Kulik is 11th at plus 197. Liz Johnson is 12th at plus 184. Shayna Ung just outside the number 14, or excuse me, 4 pins back of Liz Johnson. Shayna is 13th at plus 180. Jasmine Mason, back-to-back round of 32 appearances for the young rook. Originally from Rhode Island. She will be returning to a very familiar place next week when the tour heads to Lincoln, Nebraska. Jasmine, an All-American, national champion at Nebraska. Sure, she'll be excited to visit some familiar territories and places. She'll have a good beat on the lanes and understanding how Sun Valley operates. Look forward to seeing John Lucido, one of the best in the business, folks. Meanwhile, Wade just continues to do her thing here. the 2016 PWBA Rookie of the Year, New Way Finn. Other players near the cut line, by the way, Tashina Sorouse is 14th at plus 157. Oh, wow. Jordan Richard 15th at plus 156. Missy Parkin 16th at plus 148. Jasmine, I thought that A-pin might have rolled. It did not. But Jody Wessner. Let's see where Jody is. She had 683 for the first 3 games. And went 214. So 97 over through 4 today for Jody. She's got a chance to get to 236 and continue to make moves. She's only 40 back of the number. You know, we're not supposed to root for people in this business. The business of broadcasting is supposed to be objective for the most part. Now, if you're working for, you know, a team, for example, your favorite team's broadcasters are obviously favoring that team. And that's who they work for. In this situation, there's really no favors from our end. But there are players certainly that you would want to see good things happen to. I would like to see Jody Wessner win a PWBA title. Talking about somebody who puts in the work and on and off the lanes, because she still carries her full-time job and we've seen her working on tour several times before and gets a good break there. Jody has been on tour for a very long time, very early. We're not talking about since the relaunch. She was on tour in its original form. Has seen it in many facets. As New Way Finn strikes yet again, she's in the 260s. Bold Tice struggled this game with 141, 224 for Gigi. Wessner for one more to get into the 230s. Ugh. What a shot there. Wraps a 10. Spare will give her 225, but she keeps chopping away at the number. Well, first little errant shot there for Way, but with the count, she'll have 266, and all of a sudden, Way at plus 136.